दे उसे, बोले जा.
And Rocky will say he's such a sweet guy. He gets a lot of faux pas here and there, but he manages very well. So I'm very proud of him.
Right. Sir, for you, how was the entire journey? जी,
दिल साफ है ना.
Rockstar है, हमें बहुत पसंद है. What do you have to say about this entire journey? Because you know, of course, it's not just this part of the country. Pan India, we love you. You know, we've seen your work. So here, when you collaborated with this amazing, I'm not calling it an ensemble cast. I'm calling it an awesome cast. So how was it this time, sir?
Without getting into any cliches, let me tell you, this has been the best cinematic journey of my entire career.
Wow.
And made special by Karun sir, who's not here with us today, and these two amazing actors, and of course my colleague Churni. And I'll tell you something which is very interesting. As an actor, I say this as an actor, Alia, has incredible instincts. She is an instinctive actress, and if you're not on your toes with her, you're gone. On the other hand, Ranveer-Singh here would have made Konstantin Stanislavski proud had he been alive. He's met her. Then both of them collaborate on screen. Instinct versus method. It's an amazing collaboration, and that you will see from the 28th on.
Bench press, pull-ups, push-ups, bicep curls, tricep curls. Today only cardio and abs.
But yeah, and you can check him out.
And it was not easy because जो dance form है, it's very intricate. You know, we had that whole music piece also जिसको हमको साथ में करना था. And Vibhuti ma'am's one instruction is that when you all are dancing together, it should be दो जिस्म एक जान. तो आपको एक के साथ एक step मिलाना है. तो हमने बहुत rehearsals की for that. Energy, though, honestly, when dancing with Ranveer-Singh, if you don't put energy in, then you are not going to be looked at all.
I was just telling Janvi, I was like, look at her, she's giving it, giving it.
And Ranveer has this thing before any take or before a shot, he will always scream and he'll bring up the whole, everybody's energy on set, all the dancers, all the crowd, every technician is like, yeah, on some other like level of energy at the end of it. So that also comes from him. He does that before every shot.
The camera behind the scenes, all of us, we enjoyed it. And these two wonderful artists, what anything you could see it
right
on screen.
Yes,
it's quite evident.
Absolutely.
And they work so hard without us, without anything. 5 days in a row, every day dancing, 12 hours a day. It's incredible. It's not easy, let me tell you that. It's not easy.
But I also have to say there is a surprise in this song.
Yes, a secret and a surprise.
Jo
We are the only ones who danced our hearts out. There's somebody else who's also given it.
Flow. That's also why we like to do different films and genres and characters, because it keeps it different. But I think one thing, I would change the question around it. Is one thing that I appreciate deeply of working on a Karan Johar film set is that the atmosphere is very light, and everybody's opinion, everybody's creative input matters, and everybody, it just feels very like a family and just friends coming together. There's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of getting the day in, but there's never stress, there's never anybody screaming, there's never any tension. It's just very light, and I think we'd all agree. Sometimes in the most serious scenes, we are still having a laugh on the side. Then of course we get into character and we get serious again. But the atmosphere is very light.
Himself would submit that this is a leading man unlike any of his previous ones. So I'm really glad that I have that distinction come into his world, his cinema, and add a little bit of my own texture. It was very fulfilling. I always had this dream of working with Karan Johar. In fact, so much so, I had pictures of a bunch of directors on my wall that I used to manifest that someday I'm going to work with them, and Karan Johar was one of them. So this is a great big tick of a box for me from a life and career perspective, that I get to be the leading man in a Karan Johar film. Wow. Even now when I say it, it feels a bit surreal. And it is an honor and a privilege to act with her, because in my estimation, she is one of the greatest performers that we've had in Indian cinema. I mean, you saw what she did in Gangubai Kathiawadi, and she's just getting started. So yeah, she's one of my favorite actors, and she elevates my own work, and I cannot emphasize that enough. I always say it's so delightful to work with her. You just show up, you be present, you submit and surrender to your co-actor, and things just flow.
I have the same feeling with Ranveer in terms of this, what he said about trust. I think it's so, in Gully Boy we were coming from the same world. Our characters were coming from the same world. In this film, we had very different opposite characters, but there was so much safety that we both felt. Like in these situations, we add fuel to each other's fire, I would say. You know, creativity, playroom is very, very exciting. And even during promotions, whenever I come to him and I say, let's do this reel, you know, that we both ideate together on it. So we kind of like children when we creatively engage. One thing that I always feel like, I don't know why, I'm just really into numbers, but I'm a number 6 and so is Ranveer. So I feel like, you know, it's a thing. Like I feel like we just sometimes, I don't even have to say something and I say, but, and I do this and he says, yeah, and he knows what I'm thinking, which I find so amazing. Songs that we've grown up watching, and Karan's intention was to bring back that love for chiffon saris in the snow, and, you know, hero heroine are just singing to each other. He wanted to do that. So that's where the thought came from. So based on the thought, one has to kind of go with the saris. I'll be very honest and candid. My approach to anything, whether it's hard, difficult, there have been times I've done songs with an injured foot. There have been times where it's been boiling hot, but I've worn many layers. Similarly, in this condition, it was extremely cold. I had to wear a chiffon sari. But there's a lot of care that goes into taking care of the actor. So what you're not seeing is there's lots of heaters around. I'm wearing leg warmers. And the same Ranveer who's wearing those many jackets is in between takes, taking those jackets and putting it onto me so that I at least get that little respite. But I would say, if I can praise myself 2%, I'm a trooper that way. I go with the flow and I like, listen, karna hai to we have to get the job done. And there's not, like if I wear puffer jackets, then there wouldn't be that beauty in that chiffon sari. So I was really happy doing it because I got to live my dream. Your second question, I think it's a very, very important question, and I completely, I think empathize with that, because none of us want to see stereotyped characters in today's day and age. There has to be a lot of referencing done. I think the way I kind of I relied a lot, for example, on Churni Man and Tota Sir, and a lot on just the general creative. Our main dialogue writer is a Bengali herself, Ishita Moitra, so I think she was very sensitive about that as well. Ranveer can answer how he kind of did that. But I think these things we attempt at everything because we are very aware of it, and the rest we leave into the audience's hands.
You know, certain tropes of certain cultures, we should be open to keeping things light, you know. I'm somebody who can very easily take a joke on myself, so I'm cool with it. I feel like this is Karan Johar's most humorous film, and I hope that the audience senses that from the trailer and comes in, you know, to have fun and to have a good laugh. As far as Tum Kya Mile goes, ma'am, I can't tell you how warm I was. I was wearing these down puffer jackets from Montclair, which Karan Johar brought, and they were just so warm, I couldn't feel a thing.
You're being sarcastic or funny?
It is fact.
It is fact.
Yeah, but the point I really want to make is about Alia. I have to tell you, it was very cold. I was in all of those layers, and it was thermals and puffer jackets, and Alia is that kind of leader on the film set. You know, she knows that a lot of work is going into the shot, and a lot of work is going in to set her up to deliver, and that's what she does, and that's what makes her what she is. An absolute leader, an absolute trooper. Any shot, any time, people were, when it was getting colder and colder, people were getting extremely concerned. Alia, are you okay? She's like, no, I'm fine, let's go. So she's that kind of teammate, team player, and I deeply appreciate that about her. I've also learned from my seniors. I remember we were shooting Dil Dhadakne Do somewhere in Spain, and Anil Kapoor and myself were in a dinghy, and it was so hot that we were barely able to perform. And he was like, it's all the mind. It's all the mind. It's all the mind. It's all the mind.
To be very honest, I always thought I had a lot of love to give, and I'm a very loving person. But after becoming a mom and after giving birth to my beautiful daughter, the whole language of love has changed for me completely and become so much larger. So I think there's